During the COVID-19 pandemic, many of us have dug up hidden talents and discovered our greatest strengths and weaknesses. We've developed a much greater sense of love for those close to us and deeper appreciation to the many frontline heroes among us who work tirelessly each day to keep us and our families safe. Thanks for stopping by for today's Jamaica Magazine. In our show today, we join a corporate entity saying thank you to some of the island's frontline workers. And later, we will arm you with the information you need to tackle domestic violence. Please stay with us for the show.
Jamaica's COVID-19 vaccination plan is still in effect. If you wish to make an appointment, please do so online by visiting moh.gov.jm or by calling 888-663-5683. Vaccination still a keep. Go get your jab today.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Friday, June 11, 2021. The Kingston Public Hospital is among 4 health facilities that will soon be receiving X-ray machines. Information Minister Favour Williams made the announcement at this week's post-cabinet press briefing. She says Cabinet granted approval for the award of a contract to supply and install 6 X-ray machines at hospitals managed by the Southeast Regional Health Authority, SARA.
The hospitals to benefit are the Kingston Public Hospital, which is slated to receive 3 X-ray machines, Spanish Town Hospital 1, the National Chest Hospital 1, and the Bustamante Children's Hospital 1 X-ray machine.
Minister Williams says the contract for $453.4 million was awarded to Arrell Limited. Meanwhile, residents of Point Hill and surrounding areas in St. Catherine now have a more modern facility at which they can access quality health care. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton officially opened the newly constructed Kenneth Baugh Health Centre on Wednesday. The Type 3 Health Centre was financed by the National Health Fund at a cost of over $42 million.
So it is a major expansion. It will have record-keeping, immunization, antenatal, postnatal facility. The staff here will be well taken care of, lunchroom, and for staff, a dressing room, dental services, and a doctor's office. So you're not only going to get the physical, you're getting the dental, which is a big deal in the rural parts of the country and in the country generally. And that's a very positive thing. And I insisted that we provided that.
The health centre, which is named in honour of the late former Member of Parliament, will benefit communities including Point Hill, Dutchies, Mendez, Pusey, Roaring River, Garden Hill, Brownstown, Reynolds, and Old Works.
Today we celebrate him in a small way, but in a significant way, because the facility here that we have put in place may not represent the sort of global contribution that he made as a nationalist, as someone who has had responsibilities for the entire country in public health and in so many other areas.
300 registered girls at the Women's Centre of Jamaica Foundation will soon be receiving tablets from the entity to facilitate their learning. Gender Minister Olivia Grange says $2 million was donated by Scotiabank to assist with purchasing the devices. The Women's Centre of Jamaica Foundation helps teenage mothers and pregnant teens complete their education and get their lives back on track.
I am pleased to report that the first adolescent mothers who receive scholarships through the Women's Centre of Jamaica's A-Stream program to do tertiary studies have successfully completed their courses of study. One is a registered nurse and the other is a science teacher.
She adds that the centre recently completed construction of its new facility in Santa Cruz, St. Elizabeth at a cost of $36 million and is now looking to furnish the property to facilitate school with the young mothers and their babies. And finally, Cabinet has approved 4 contracts totaling approximately $1.25 billion for various projects in the education sector. The news was disclosed by Minister of Education, Youth and Information, Favour Williams, during Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House. Among the projects is the extension of the sixth form block at Kingston College. Cabinet has approved the award of that $65.2 million contract to SM Quality Construction. A $3.1 million contract was also awarded to Carlong Publishers Limited for the supply and distribution of textbooks to students at the primary level.
Cabinet also gave approval for the award of a contract for the provision of data processing service for the primary exit profile exams for grades 4, 5, and 6 in the amount of $630.2 million, inclusive of GCT, to DPK Information Systems Limited. The contract is for a 5-year period commencing June 2021.
Minister Williams says Cabinet also approved a contract to undertake the construction of a diagnostic intervention center at the College of Agriculture, Science and Education, CASE. The contract, which is valued at $85.9 million, is being awarded to C&D Construction and Engineering Limited. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Hurricanes can strike at any time. In the event of one, be prepared to act quickly. If a hurricane watch or warning has been issued, review your home disaster response plan. Map out likely routes to evacuate if your home is at risk and confirm with relatives or friends you plan to stay with. Also, confirm the location of the nearest shelter. Check your emergency supplies and restock if necessary. Remember, disasters do happen, so be prepared.
Have you ever stopped to think about the many sacrifices being made by our healthcare and frontline workers during this pandemic? Have you ever wished you could show them some appreciation for all they do? Well, if you have, you're not alone. The Island Village Shopping Centre in Ocho Rios recently did just that. Watch this.
Permit me also, Madam Speaker, to ask this Honourable House to thank and applaud the approximately 37,000 healthcare workers in the public and private sector and our local, bilateral and multilateral partners for the hard work and sacrifice that they have made to protect all of us from this not so novel coronavirus.
I also use this opportunity to thank and pay maximum respect to our frontline workers who have worked so hard to keep us safe and healthy during this pandemic.
It is no secret that our frontline workers have been going beyond the call of duty during this pandemic and are much deserving of thanks and gratitude. It is for this reason we're in St. Anne to join the Island Village fraternity as they give back to some of these frontline heroes in the city.
Today we are treating frontline workers. So we've invited down key members of our community. We've invited down the members of the St. Anne's Bay Hospital, members from the St. Anne's Bay Police, and also the St. Anne's Bay Marine Police. We want to just give them basically a nice treat to tell them thank you for all the work that they do in our community. So we had the organizations choose the individuals specifically to come down and receive a little treat from us.
The Island Village Shopping Centre has over 30 tenants that come together to give their patrons much more than a shopping experience. On the premises, there's a private beach, a pool, splash pad for kids, eateries and duty-free shops. Today, a few of the tenants have come together to give these frontline workers the treat they deserve.
We have a number of sponsors. We have Margaritaville, who has sponsored food, Goodwill Jamaica / Island Village, who has sponsored some of the drinks. We also have a multiplicity of gift certificates from Trucker Adventures, Starbucks, Island Coffees, and also Island Flats.
We have some exciting stuff. We have some mini meatballs served with a marinara sauce. We also have chicken quesadilla. We have fish fingers. We have fish fritters, and of course we have some wings as well. So we have some great items on the menu. We can't thank them enough. This is really nothing. We really should do a lot more for them. These people are hardworking people, and they have been there when we are at our homes. They have been there serving us, trying to fight this pandemic to try to get us back to normal. And we just thought that it was more than necessary for us to play a role in showing our appreciation to these hard-working people.
Different from what I see every day, because every day we're on the wards. I know I get to see people, I see the beach over there. Can't swim, but I'm looking. I want to say many, many thanks. I mean, it's good to know that we are appreciated, especially in a time like this, where we are risking it all every single day at work. So this is a very good gesture, and we really appreciate it.
I think it's a very great gesture. You know, the food was nice. So on behalf of myself, the Ocho Rios Police, the Peace Step, and the Marine Police, thank you. So it was a very good day. How can you give back to those in your community today? Whether it be a kind word or deed, the important thing is for you to show some gratitude to those everyday heroes among us who work hard to keep Jamaica and Jamaicans safe.
For those of us who do not believe that COVID is real and that it is here, have you been to one of those hospitals where the wards are overflowing with patients who are trying to breathe and talk at the same time, but find it so impossible to do so? Or have you seen someone die in front of you, trying to make the next breath to stay alive? So my fellow Jamaicans and colleagues, whether you believe it or not, COVID is real. So I implore you, social distance. Wash your hands, wear your mask, sanitize. Along with that, we need to keep our immune system nice and healthy, so you drink lots of water, eat your fruits and vegetables. But whether we believe it or not, COVID is here, it is here to stay, it's going to be the new norm. And remember, when you behave irresponsible, you expose all of us. So do the responsible thing.
My name is Kevin Morrison, Nurse Morrison. I work at the St. Anne's Bay Hospital, the St. Anne's Bay Hospital. So we're promoting today the water challenge. The water challenge is where we drink room temperature water on an empty stomach every single morning. So we use it to basically start the day. It literally activates the organs in the mornings. We have hundreds of people doing it, and we want to expand the numbers because we're promoting a healthier Jamaica. And as always, your health is your responsibility.
Informing.
Jamaica today confirmed its first imported case of coronavirus.
Educating.
If you follow the recommended procedures, it is highly likely that you will not get the disease.
Going beyond to keep you informed and connected.
Welcome to Get the Fact.
Even through the pandemic. Helping you stay safe while we protect ourselves. Dependable. Impactful. Accurate.
This is your JIS News.
Credible. Trustworthy. Every day, everywhere. Serving our customers proudly.
Domestic violence continues to be a major occurrence in Jamaica. If you or someone you know is a victim of intimate partner violence, watch this next feature for details on how you can get assistance.
All that is an actual story, a story all too familiar. And well, that's a part of my story. Growing up, I've seen my father flip over the simplest of things. He would basically changed from an angel to a devil in a flash. I remember this instance. My mom told me that she was coming home from work one evening because she worked very close to where he lived. She was coming home from work, and usually when you're leaving work, it's a lot of persons leaving at the same time, and she was talking to one of her co-workers and she smiled at him. He smiled back, and my father saw that, and when she went home, he was ready for her. He was like, "Oh, see, I smile at my on the road, you smile at my on the road." He beat her, he stripped her naked, and he chased her in front of the yard so all her co-workers could see. So all her co-workers could see her.
Domestic abuse or domestic violence is not just physical abuse. The physical abuse basically for us is the end product coming from somewhere else. So you have stalking, you have intimidation, you have threat, you have psychological abuse, the ones that I'll tell you, I play on your emotions as to what I can do.
It was known to everybody that this was the type of person she was dating, this was the type of man he was. Even the security at the gate, the manager, everyone. So it's not like her life was a secret. If she could not have any friends. He was the only person she could talk to, go anywhere with. If someone even talked to her and she not acknowledging them, she would get beaten for that. The least good thing, he would flip on her.
Usually, persons who are perpetrators of domestic violence are usually men, and usually they are persons who were controlling over their intimate partners. They tend to have a high level of jealousy, and they tend to be very possessive. And as such, you find that they will have a pattern of behavior where they will always check where the partner is by various means, whether by calling the person, asking the person where they are, also want to know who are they communicating with. So are they communicating persons on email, WhatsApp, other social media platform? They also want to make sure that they know where they are at all times and that they're not interacting with other persons outside, so they tend to want to have them stay home, for example, and lose connection with their families and friends.
A lot of persons knew that my mom was being abused. Well, the type of man that my father was, everyone was afraid of him. My neighbor was afraid of him. His neighbor was afraid of him. It's like anyone who came into contact with him would get hurt because he's not a simple person. I'm not sure if it's because of his build. He's really fit, he's really tall, muscular, so he's not afraid.
As community members, we have a moral responsibility that within our homes and within our communities, once we are aware that there are instances of domestic abuse and domestic violence and we seek help, best place to go? To the police. Ask the police to intervene. Intervention can be that the police directs the victim to a counseling center, because we have partnership with churches, right? We have partnership with other organizations, Justices of the Peace, counselors.
Every time she escaped him, he would either stalk her, chase her, go to her either friend's house, wherever she went, friend's house, mother's house, cousin's house, no matter where she went, he would find her, go for her with a gun, knife, machete, whatever it may be, and she would always have to go back with him. No one, no matter how much they try to fight and help her, he would always get her back. And when she goes back with him, the beating got worse, the abuse got worse, the rape got worse, everything got worse.
Have an escape plan. Your escape plan cannot be where the perpetrator knows that you're going over to your mother's house because he's aware of where your mother lives. The escape plan cannot be, I'm going to go stay by my friend because he knows where your friends are. If it's a life-threatening abuse, that's where you go to the courts to seek a protection order or an occupation order or both.
I would say maybe around primary school. I'm not sure the exact age. I was told that there was a restraining order for me and between me and my father. He should not be about, I'm not sure how much feet from me. He is not allowed to be near me at all. At this time I was living with my grandmother because my mom got full custody now. They had went through court and everything and fought her way, so there was no more hiding from him. He knew where I was living now because she got custody and he had to basically step away.
The protection order will say you are not to be seen, you are to remove one party is to leave the household because of the volatility of the situation. The court may say, look here, one party must leave the household and reside elsewhere. And a lot of times it's the abuser that the court will say, look, stay somewhere else until the matter is heard. Or you're not to be seen in the workplace of the person.
The abuse that my mom endured, the physical abuse and the verbal abuse that I basically endured from my father, it has caused me to basically lock myself away from people. I'm always by myself, 90% of the time I would say. I'm always by myself. Throughout high school, I've had counseling. I was rebellious because I felt like no one loved me. I struggle in the relationship department, friendship. I have anger issues. I've learned to control it because of counseling. I had this teacher, she helped me throughout high school and university.
Counseling able to revisit what happened, able to process it in a more positive way and more realistic way. So you don't put all the blame on yourself, but you realize that a lot of it wasn't your fault, and then help you now to, having dealt with it, to try to move on. A lot of persons, because they don't deal with it, they find it difficult to relate to other persons because of the fact that they're still kind of baggage of what happened to them before.
The Domestic Violence Intervention Centers, one of those facilities that were donated by the U.S. Embassy, and it's a partnership between the JCF and the U.S. Embassy, to create a facility where persons can come and speak about domestic violence and domestic abuse related issues within their home. And so it's a safe space for both victims and perpetrator. And it offers counseling to family members, to victims, also to perpetrators. We have two centers that are currently operational. One is at the Matilda's Corner Police Station. You can call the Matilda's Corner Police Station for that. The other one is at Air 5 headquarters. That's on the same compound as Constant Spring Police Station. The number is 702-5120 or 702-5121.
We also have available mental health and suicide helpline. And this helpline is a 24-hour service, which is toll-free, where a person can call. So it can be either persons calling on behalf of others that they have been exposed to domestic violence. So the helpline is toll-free and 888 New Life, which is 888-639-5433. And the 24-hour service, 7 days per week.
If you know someone is being abused, say something, do something.
It's a new beginning. New day is dawning. It's time to arise. We are the gene of achievement and pride.
A bold new beginning. Time for action. We have the spirit to fight on.
This is Jamaica. This is our land. We have our future with God in our plan. We'll play our part building this great nation. This is Jamaica. This is our land.
Let us make every effort to forge unity and resolve to work hard for our prosperity.
Leaving our children a legacy of hope. Breaking the shackles and smashing the yoke. This is Jamaica. This is our land. This is our we have our future with God in our plan. We'll play our part building this great nation. This is Jamaica. This
Let me hear the children say.
This is Jamaica. This
Yeah, together we can.
As we close off today's program, we thank you for staying with us for the entire show. If you can't get enough of our show, just visit our website, jis.gov.jm, or the JIS YouTube channel to watch our daily video uploads. You may also follow us on all our social media sites for more pertinent public information. Also, don't forget to tune in tomorrow for another informative edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Audrey Williams. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.